Alright, so I'm making this video because I had made a previous couple of videos and it was a little bit long and drawn out, and upon putting my machine back together, I actually came across something that I was a little bit dumbfounded with. But anyways, first things first, this is a 2016 Sportsman 850 HO. Non-power steering unit. This did not come from the factory with power steering. Okay, so long story short, the superatv kit that is designed for the 2009 to 2014 850 XPs, they do not list my unit as being compatible with this kit. Well, I had thought that maybe I was 90% compatible. Well, after looking at the machine again and looking at the instructions, I actually did do something wrong. I had initially thought that the computer for the power steering went up front somewhere, and I had searched everywhere through the front of the machine, whatever. I had thought that maybe they changed the frame or whatever, but they didn't, and they don't specify in the directions. It just gives you a picture, and I could not find that location. I guess the transmission being in the picture should have given me an indication, but I'm not 100% familiar with this machine. There it is. This is where the computer is supposed to go. In the rear of the machine, there's supposed to be a plate that slides in behind this thing. There's another plate that goes over top of it, and it sandwiches this part. And you can actually, surprisingly, access the bolts from behind. I don't know if you can see it, but you could get in from kind of like the side for this one, because I guess the first one goes here and the second one goes down in here somewhere, but you can actually go up underneath of the exhaust and get at it. I guess I'm gonna have to move it. Fantastic, because I've only got like 10 hours into this project already. So again, the kit that they list on superatv does not say that that it can be compatible with this machine. And with that being said, that means that the 850 that's not power steering enabled, the non-EPS model, would also be completely 100% compatible with this kit. Also, any of the 1000s or the 15 and 16, I don't know about the 17. I know that these 2 years, 15 and 16, the 850, the 1000s, and the Scrambler 850 and the 1000s all share the same frame, all share the same motor. The 1000s, it's the same motor, just a bigger bore. So again, if it fits on this machine, it's going to fit on every other 850 or 1000 that they have in the line, with possibly the exception of the touring model. Don't ask me why they're different. I didn't look into those part numbers, but I mean, obviously it's a different frame for the touring models. And let me think about that. In the 850 the 850 high lifter or the 1000 high lifter might be slightly different. I'm pretty sure that the 1000 comes with power steering, but I know for a fact that the 15 and 16 high lifter does not come with power steering, so this kit actually might be a direct bolt-on. But again, you would want to check to make sure that the part numbers between the upper steering stem and the lower steering post are the same. As long as the upper steering stem and the lower steering post are the same, and this plate, I don't know if you can see it, are all the same, then that means that it would be 100% compatible. And whenever I say to compare these parts, I'm talking about comparing them to the part numbers on the 2014 850 XP. So if, like, I went into the parts manifestos and I was looking at the parts on this machine, my 850, and I compared the part numbers between this machine and the 2014 XP, and the stem is the same, the lower post is the same, and that plate is all the same. And the only thing that is actually different is the power steering pump itself, or the motor. But I knew that since this kit had, you know, the motor was already designed to work with those parts anyways, that it should play nice, provided that it fit in the physical hole. Alright, so what's my tip? The directions tell you to take the gas tank off completely. I was not able to take the gas tank off, so the reasoning behind that was because the computer is in the way and you need to take the entire air box apart, and I was not ready to do that, and I wasted a lot of time messing around with that. And if you can tell that I'm talking fast, it's because I'm trying to get this video done really quick, because I know the last one was really long and drawn out and exaggerated, and it was flipped in the wrong orientation. So anyways, do not even bother taking the gas tank out. Loosen the bottom end of the steering post and loosen anything that's attached to the steering post. You know, obviously you want to take your handlebars and all this stuff off, and do that in the order that it says in the directions. Don't even bother messing with the gas tank. Pull the steering stem out of the hole as far as you can get it and cut it off with a grinder. Pull the top out, pull the bottom out. That's going to be the fastest way that you're possibly going to ever be able to do that. Now, next step. This hole right here where the power steering motor goes, it is not possible to install the motor with this plate in. So this plate has to be out of the hole. It cannot be anywhere near the hole. You have to finagle this power steering motor in here. It will fit, I promise you. You have to spin it around and twist it and you know, just finesse it in there. There's no reason to force it. It will fit, I promise you. Because obviously I got it in there, and no, I didn't have to hit it with a hammer, and I didn't have to modify anything else around it, so it will fit. Now, again, it has to go in first before this plate. Once this motor is in, you can slide the plate in underneath of it. There's enough room in this area where the motor is now for it to go upwards, to allow it to go up far enough to where there's a dick on the end of this, to where the motor can go up, and it will go into the hole in the middle of this plate that you cannot see. So, where am I going with this? Oh, once you have that accomplished, pretty much get all the bolts started down here, and then even put in the upper steering stem, which may require a couple of good love taps with a rubber mallet. However, you have to be careful whenever you're putting that upper steering stem in, because if it goes in too far, you will not be able to get the bolt in, but on the upper part of the power steering motor, there's a groove between the upper spline and the lower spline, and if you push the power steering upper stem down too far, that groove will be below the hole where the bolt goes through, meaning that you'll have to bump it back upwards to allow that bolt to go through. I spent a lot of time pissing around with that just because of the simple fact that it was a very tight connection. Like once I tapped that, I had to even grease up the inner splines of the upper steering stem because it was such a tight connection. I had to whack it with a hammer to get the thing to go on there, and I know it wasn't going in the right spot. I wasn't forcing it. It was just very, very, very tight. So anyways, you want to have everything loose at the bottom, put the upper steering stem in, tap it in place, get that bolt in before you do anything else after the fact. Now, there is a collar in here that you can't see, but it's like a U-collar, and there's like a spacer that goes around the upper steering stem. Before you tighten up anything else, get that thing in and get everything in place with that, and get those bolts on that started as well. So you want to have all the bolts started, top and bottom, for the main components for this before you tighten anything down, because again, it will royally mess up your day if you don't do that. Anyways, just take my word for it. Okay, so Also, part of the reason why I made this updated video is because I did see that I got a couple of hits, so those are for you guys, because I know the last video sucked, that was all off orientation. I'm actually going to delete those, and we're going to start fresh. What else can I say about this? It is very difficult to do. I would definitely have a air ratchet with a couple of universal joints like this that allow you to go around corners and stuff with a socket and extensions. I would definitely have, if I had this to do again, I would get myself some ratcheting wrenches. Having an extra person will definitely make your life a whole hell of a lot easier. I mean, I actually had my 10-year-old daughter down here helping me with this for some things because it's so tight and cramped in there that you almost need a set of kid hands to get in there and hold a wrench in place while you're like trying to ratchet something else and hold the end of the ratchet and all this. So, alright, moral of the story, 850 or 1000, 2015, 2016 Sportsman or Scrambler is all compatible with the same kit. Again, I had talked to superatv. They had told me that no, that they did not support this kit. It's not supposed to fit. Whatever, it fits. I don't know if they never tested it out or whatever the problem is. It fits. If you look at the directions, this is exactly the area where the ECU for the power steering is supposed to be located, right there. It does not. I wish I would have known that from the gate, because I spent a lot of time messing around and fretting about where to put that stupid thing. And again, right here, exactly where the directions say it is, there is the speed sensor. There's the speed sensor where you hook up your speed sensor wire. I actually followed it around until right here. There's a bundle of wires right here that the speed sensor wire continues through there as a heads up to the computer. I just spliced it in there. It's actually a little bit more protected in there than it would be from behind if it was getting beat up by rocks and mud and dirt and water and all that goodness. So yeah, I mean, it's about back together, and again, it works like a charm. I mean, here's what it looks like off. I mean, I can barely even turn the wheel, and I'm like putting my whole 200 pounds. Actually, I weigh more than 200 pounds. I'm probably like 220, and I'm having a rough time moving it. Turn it on, and it's just, I mean, one hand you can just turn it. So clearly, as you can see, it works as intended. Nothing binds up. Nothing's rubbing. I have it about wrapped up. I'm glad I found the location of the computer. But again, I'll show you the part number on the kit. That's the part number right there. And, this isn't some kind of hoax, I promise you. I ordered the kit off of eBay, off of a third-party seller, and it fits like a champ. I mean, besides the fact of having to put the power steering motor in before that plate goes in, which is so stupid. But I mean, again, I don't know if they tried that or over at superatv and like put that plate on and was like, oh, doesn't fit, and they didn't even like bother to do anything else. I don't know if maybe I'm a little bit more creative or a little bit more stubborn than they are over there, but it's a great kit. But yeah, enjoy, and I hope this video is a little bit better. It's a little bit faster. Alright, yeah, party on, dude.